It's something I don't have a cinema wins mentality, but if the general populace is like shitting on something or something is considered to be generally bad, I am the sort of guy that will be like, no, but like, I can find the good in this.
Yeah.
And there's only times where I fail that I'm like, no, you're all absolutely right. This is, this is a complete piece of crap. But I love to be the like, no, this movie's misunderstood.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes I simply cannot do that. I had a riff for how I was going to open this little talk. Are you ready for it?
Yes, please. Riff away.
The first cut is the deepest, baby, I know. The first cut is the deepest. Except the opposite will likely be true.
Yeah, no, that's actually the horrible darkness of our timeline, is that the Snyder Cut will in fact be deeper thematically and narratively than the first cut.
Unquestionably, it will be. But we nascently get ahead of ourselves. What's up, sports fans? Welcome to the pregame show, the Snyder Cut pregame show. If I've done my job,
you better tap that keg and down your shots, because we're pre-gaming.
We're pre-gaming. You don't want to spend $1,000 at the bar. You want to spend $200 at the bar. Get those shots of Malibu out now, fam, because we're doing the Snyder Cut.
You better get wet before you come, because we're pre.
Oh, I'm gonna pre. This is if I've done my job correctly, this file will be uploading on March 17th, the eve of the Snyder Cut.
Snyder Cut's Eve.
Yes, all you boys and ghouls, welcome to Snyder Cut's Eve, where this is the last possible moment in a pre-Snyder Cut world after three-ish years of this dominating every online space and some real world spaces. It's finally time for it to come out. I hesitate to say that we will be done because I fear the worst. I fear we will not be done even after it has come out.
So I saw a headline on one of the 200 pop culture website, blog, magazines across the
Nerd
internet.
hole, geek den, dork
nerd
space,
geek pit.
Absolutely.
That had the headline: the director of WandaVision Episode 9 is worried that fans will be disappointed by the ending because it does not live up to their theories.
Indeed. And I'm going to try and couch a lot of personal opinion here, just because I want this episode to be about 1 hour long. Listener, you know whether or not we have succeeded in this task. But fandom, it's been coming for a long time, but I think they've officially adopted I demand to speak to the manager mentality regarding their pop culture. It is the customer is always right mentality regarding pop culture, which is, I will say, perhaps the least effective way to engage with art. I can hasten to think of a worse way to engage with media than whatever I think going in is correct.
I think I think it is the ultimate endpoint of converting art into content.
Indeed. Because it has always been commerce.
Yes.
But it is now content.
Yes. Like comics, once a deeply, not exactly countercultural, but definitely subcultural prospect,
absolutely,
has now fully dominated the culture, and now geeks and nerds and dorks and the rest of their foul ilk have become truly Karens. They are the scolding school moms who are viscerally upset that either Superman is killing too many people or not enough.
Or too few. More killing.
Batman doesn't throw enough people off roofs, or he needs to tell the Joker to do some mental health self-care. Why don't he?
Batman can only ever truly defeat the Joker by taking him to therapy. It's about time. It's about time. Batman helped out his fellow king and sat by his king and made sure he got to therapy and got the help that he needed. Will only ever be because, as you all know, we live in a society, and it's important that we take care of our fellow kings. But Justin, we are off to a bad start. We're 7 minutes into pressing record, and I have not even started the stopwatch here. So what we're gonna try to do here is this is the pregame show. So gonna keep most of the, I mean, I'm sure we're going to express a lot of our personal opinions, but going to try and keep this just getting everyone up to speed with this world and offering an insight into what's happening. And then after the darn thing is out and we can talk about it, I'm sure 9 hours of podcast will unfold from that. Because it is 4 hours of movie, and you multiply by about 1.5 times. Yeah.
What's going to happen is we're going to cut 2,000 years in the future when Wasteland Raiders open up an apartment in New York and find the mummified corpse of Kevin dying editing the episode.
I'll never be done. What's going to happen actually is that we are going to finish our podcast, but then the studio is going to insert another pair of podcasters to make a different version of the podcast, at which point the fans will be so mad that our podcast was taken away from us that that we will get a chance to make our true twice as long podcast.
No, that's exactly it. What's going to happen is we're going to get we're going to give you the product you expect, not what you wanted actually in your heart, but what else would have we provided?
What you
should have expected, unquote, what we provide, and you promised. Don't get to be mad at what we give you anymore, because we gave you what you wanted.
Yeah. I cannot wait for tens of thousands of nerds worldwide to realize that this will not fix the void in their soul. Mm-hmm. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna try and talk. We're gonna talk Zack, and I'm gonna start the timer, and we're gonna have 30 minutes to talk about Zack. I don't think we'll need it for Zack. I think a lot of what we're trying to do will end up being the prelogue to exactly how we got to where we're about to be. Are you ready, Justin?
Yes, I am.
Okay, the clock starts. So, Ziggity Zack Snyder, the man whose name adorns the cut, the official title, Zack Snyder's Justice League. So Zack comes out of the commercial milieu, right?
Mm-hmm. He did the commercial where the Budweiser horses go from St. Louis to New York to bow to where the Twin Towers once stood.
Absolutely, because even horses love and respect the troops, and they know what happened on that crisp September morn. Mm-hmm. And even horses will bow down in fealty.
Dare I say they used their horse sense?
Indeed. Streaming now on Disney Plus, Horse Sense. So, yes. Now, Justin, describe briefly your history with Zack Attack Snyder.
I went, in the weird private school I went to, I took Latin. We had to take a language course. Mm-hmm. And I took Latin because I didn't want to actually learn a language I would have to speak. And I was always more interested in ancient history than contemporary language. And in the year I started this private school, 300 came out.
Indeed.
And absolutely every member of the classics department that I studied under, who taught both Latin and Greek, hated the shit out of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And would stop class to just rant about it and what they got wrong.
Uh-huh.
Which I think says a lot about the school I went to.
Sure. When a movie is obviously purporting historical realism, like 300,
right?
Yes,
right. Trust me, I know that in fact the Persians did not ride rhinoceroses.
Oh, interesting.
Against the Spartans, or had blade-handed penguin men.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. Or
okay.
Orcs. They had an orc deficit, dare I say.
Yeah, I would... I believe that Xerxes was an average-sized man, not in fact an 8-foot behemoth. Not in fact an 8-foot gay king that we now stand. I must stand King Xerxes, the big gay king. And I respect everything he was trying to do, taking in the disenfranchised. Taking in people that were not like the big gay King Xerxes, and I simply must respect that. My first Zack was also 300, because that movie came out in 2006, so I was 13 years old, the exact right age and time. I was 13 years old in a small Missouri town. I was the target audience for 300.
You might as well have a U.S. Army recruiter show you that movie.
Exactly. It is a work of nationalism, and it actually doesn't matter that it's about Greek nationalism, because it's
not Greek nationalism even, because Greece didn't exist at that time.
Sure.
There were
Spartan nationalism
who hated the shit out of all the other Greeks.
Mm-hmm.
Who fought the Persians and then would later join them because they hated the other Greeks so much they'd rather join their former enemy to beat the shit out of some Athenians.
And honestly, I respect that level of pettiness from the Spartans.
Of course.
But yes, it's an overt work, perhaps the most successful bit of American nationalist troop propaganda, even though it's about ancient Spartans. You know what I mean?
It really is the most Iraq War movie of that era ever produced.
It's even colored like the standard Iraq War with the yellows and the etc.
Well, I'd actually argue that was not intentional, because that came from a different perspective, because they were trying to match the bronze sky and wine dark sea aesthetic of ancient Greek myth and epic.
Sure.
That they described, because some historians speculate that the Greeks didn't know what the color blue was.
Indeed, which is why they describe the wine dark sea, because they did not have blue and could not understand blue. So that's a little fun history tidbit that is debated, but an interesting thought experiment.
Yes, a thought experiment we are not the ones to make. However, nevertheless, the desert aesthetic, I think, came... Really, I feel like it was the Hurt Locker that really popularized it, or at least lent it the prestige.
Sure.
It needed to produce works like Zero Dark 30.
Indeed, even though those movies are by the same woman. Right. But yes, I know what you mean.
Yeah, which was a harrowing movie to see as a teen, because because I came out of that movie seeing it with my parents, and my super liberal, I got my politics from my dad, who is super duper liberal, and even he came out of Zero Dark 30 saying, maybe we did need to aggressively interrogate.
Maybe we did need a motherfucker to get Bin Laden.
Maybe we needed Chris Pratt to lock men in hot boxes.
Yeah. the beginning of Pratt's big career pivot, which is a podcast unto itself.
TM highlight asterisk. My father does not condone torture.
Oh, that's good.
He's a good man who does not condone it.
It's speaking to the effect of the film.
The influence of said what is clearly propaganda.
Sure. Yes, and that's all worth talking about. But back to Zack Attack specifically.
Yes.
But you're right that it is it heralded in like this new style. It felt like a real like style reset in a lot of ways. And you know, the speed ramping, as they say, where it goes real slow and then it goes real fast. It was a big cultural moment. Just blew up. It was seen the world over, a huge smash hit success. Yeah. Now, previous to that, Zack had done what I still think is his best movie, the 2004 remake of Dawn of the Dead, which is a good, enjoyable little zombie flick. You know, it has this like Zack aesthetic where like the zombies can't be slow, they must be fast. But that was popularized at the time, right? 'Cause 28 Days Later starts that previous to 2004, I believe.
Well, like, also, there is absolutely nothing to necessitate that zombies are slow.
No.
Necessarily.
Sure. It's a point of contention, but unnecessarily so. Sometimes they can be fast, and sometimes they can be slow, and that's okay. Both worlds can exist simultaneously.
Whatever makes for the more interesting movie.
Exactly. Whatever fits the tone, and I think fast zombies work for that movie. Like, that movie is such a, like, radical energy piece with elements of xenophobia that have not aged well at all.
Yes. However, I would say the strength of that Dawn of the Dead, I would say, comes more from James Gunn's script.
Strong script by Mr. James Gunn.
Yes, we stand a Missourian king.
That's right,
the king of Missouri, James Gunn.
A hometown hero, James Gunn, who just decides to set all of his movies in Missouri, even though I don't think any of them have ever filmed there. Yeah, so we have King James, good script, and like a good cast of character actors. You have Ty Burrell, you have Ving Rhames, you have a guy who looks like Elias Koteas, but I don't think is. You have a lot of people that look like people in that movie. Because there's the girl that looks like Anna Faris, there's the guy that looks like Tim Roth, but it's not any of them. But it does like a good, spirited, like, there's some good jokes, there's some good like setup payoff, there's some subtly like interesting kind of character work in there for like a cheesy 2004 zombie movie. But it's a good time, and still I think his best work.
However, I would say that what makes it his best work is the fact that he kept James Gunn's humor from the original script.
Right.
Because my God, in any of his future movies, the man cannot land a comedic beat to save his life.
Yes, it is complete moroseness. And when there are jokes, they seem so wildly out of place and ill-considered in the man's future works. Because and keep me abreast if I'm missing something here, because I don't have the IMDb open. Because he uses the success of 300 to jump immediately to Watchmen, another like big graphic novel adaptation, which I haven't seen since the theater in 08 or 09, but I rememmy absolutely hating. I remember just truly not enjoying.
So I will say that my relationship to comic books, I would say, is more closely related to Zack Snyder's than yours.
That's probably true.
The only ever like pull I ever had was getting Archie Sonic comics in the mail.
Well, that's probably not what Zack did.
No. But Zack came really from heavy metal.
Uh-huh.
And the artistic Euro comic scene, which I came to later, but I would argue is superior to the American product in at least in certain respects. Especially in terms of sex and violence, but also it definitely dealt with darker and more intense stories than the American product.
Mm-hmm.
And then the British invasion happens, and then we get, Warren Ellis and Garth Ennis and Alan Moore, who tells this gripping story about a bunch of knockoffs of another comic property that shows that, in fact, that superheroes are terrible if they were real.
Absolutely.
And in fact, Alan Moore, there's a recurring theme in Alan Moore's work of making the fantastic real is a terrible thing to happen.
Indeed. It is the argument that book makes, but unfortunately everyone missed that lesson, right? And so then we are beleaguered by people that misunderstood superheroes as real being bad, as superheroes as real being cool. And it truly drowned us for many years there. Still to this day.
Yes. It sets the precedent for superheroes being cruel, but not being tragic.
Interesting.
Which I think is the primary difference. The Watchmen set the precedent for superheroes being vicious and mean and brutal and sadistic to people. But it also set the precedent for showing that these are sad, deeply emotionally complex figures. That the majority of comic book producers in America, case in point, Rob Liefeld and Todd McFarlane, are not interested in.
Indeed.
They're not interested in the emotional complexity that requires to actually explore why a man would put on a costume and punch people in the streets.
Yes, in such a brutal way. They are not interested in the actual interrogation of that idea.
Exactly.
Which is at the core of that particular work, but most of the good Alan Moore and British Invasion works is like an interrogation, not just the inversion of superhero is violent now.
Yes.
Superhero is sad all time. They only took the surface level ideas.
Yes.
And did not grasp what is just underneath.
Exactly. It's a reading to filth of America that only a British anarchist could do.
Indeed.
No one stopped to think why a British anarchist would come to those conclusions about America.
Right. All we did then was take what he showed us and prove him absolutely correct, Take what he wanted to show us, and we go like, yeah, we do like that. And it's like, no, you missed the idea that we are then supposed to reform and move on. But Watchmen is, of course, still, one of the seminal works of the medium. Everyone's own personal feelings aside, it is like still every year one of the top 5, if not the number 1 best-selling graphic novels every single year. It just kills constantly. The only other book that I think has managed to replicate that exact cycle and success is The Killing Joke. another bit of Alan Moore superhero grimness.
But also one of the few works Alan Moore has gone onto the record regretting.
Yeah, he wants to own the one where, like, the fish man has sex with the hot lady, but he's like, actually, Killing Joke, nah.
Here's the thing. Alan Moore does get a lot of flack for being overly grim, which he very often is. However, he is enamored. He's I'd argue one of the few people in comics who still likes the Silver Age.
No, I do know he always is pulling from those inspirations, right? Even when he is taking these entities and turning them into something else, still most of what he's pulling from is the classics of a medium, right? League of Extraordinary Gentlemen is the classics of Victorian adventure literature, and Watchmen is the classics of Charlton comics. You know, it's always pulling from those Silver Age roots as he then turns them and manifests them and twists them. And we can talk about how perhaps much of the DCEU fails at exactly this idea.
Yes.
That Moore pulled off again and again and again. Again, my own feelings about the man and his work aside, it's undeniable what he's done.
The point I was trying to make is that he is generally willing to at least explore the complexity of a character. Like, he was the guy who wrote For the Man Who Has Everything, which is about Superman getting a chance to live the fantasy of being a typical man on Krypton. Mm-hmm. He was the guy who wanted to write, after the Silver Age had explicitly ended with the Crisis on Infinite Earths, Alan Moore came in to DC and said, hey, I still want to write an ending for this Silver Age, still optimistic Superman who grapples against Mr. Mxyzptlk becoming unnecessarily cruel and monstrous. Mm-hmm. He clearly he does languish against the brutality of comics that's really started in the 90s.
Absolutely. It was an 80s idea that then became the dominating idea of the 90s, right?
Yes.
And we can talk about the history of comic books all day, but let's round out the Zack conversation here at about 19 minutes since I hit the start button.
Yes.
So after this point, besides with one exception, the Legends of the Guardians, the Owls of Ga'Hoole, the noble Owls of Ga'Hoole, Zack's filmography then becomes the DCEU. Man of Steel, Batman, Superman, Superman.
There is one exception.
Okay, because I knew I was missing something.
Because because he has a passion product. Every director has a passion product that he puts up with a bunch of franchise and, work for hire deals to do. And Zack's dream project was Sucker Punch.
Oh my god, I cannot believe I forgot about
which he did immediately after Man of Steel.
You are absolutely correct. I cannot Scorsese has Silence, his epic drama about Catholic priests in China. Stanley Kubrick had his Napoleon film. Orson Welles had The Other Side of the Wind. These storied projects that directors spend their entire careers attempting to make and either get made or don't after a certain point.
Yes.
And Zack's is Sucker Punch.
Which is basically if Sailor Moon took place in an asylum where their lobotomies were depicted as rapes in a bordello, and also said Sailor Moon characters also had machine guns and Mausers who fought robo-dragons and samurai. You want sense? Fuck you. Enjoy the spectacle, pig.
Sure, exactly. It's spectacle. It's a director saying, these are images that are in my mind, and I am going to film them. Sense be darned. Rationality be darned. I simply must get this image out of my head. I simply must get Emily Browning into a Sailor Moon schoolgirl outfit and have her fight robots. And you know what? Okay. You know what? All right. I've never seen it.
There have been grosser auteur projects put to film.
I completely agree. And not having seen Sucker Punch, earnestly not intending to.
You don't need to.
Don't care to. Doesn't seem like my kind of thing. Trash is okay. That just doesn't seem like my trash. If I want trash, I'll put on Barbarella. That's my trash. Sucker Punch is not my trash. And that's okay. It's somebody else's trash, and that's fine. Everyone has their own special trash that means something to them,
Well, the 70s did at least have a sense of sleaze that was at least nominally classy.
It was an earnest, semi-classy sleaze. You know what I mean?
Well, actually, it was a translation of Euro comics. Barbarella was a comic figure, and again, like I said, Euro comics tend to be more sexual, darker, and Barbarella is what, I don't know, hooked some coked-out producer.
Absolutely. And you know what? God love him. God respect.
God bless them, and the Orgasmo, like, piano.
Exactly. The orgasm torture machine from Barbarella. Got everyone out there. Go check that one out. I think it's worth a watch.
Barbarella. You will not be bored.
You won't be bored. I honestly, I really love the designs. I think they do a lot of shit that you're like, this was like 1969. How did they do this? Like, how was this possible on a technological level? And we simply must respect our sexual queen, Barbarella.
We have to respect Jane Fonda knowing exactly what kind of movie she's in.
She nails it. I'm actually doing a kind of Jane Fonda film series, of course helped out by the Criterion Channel, which has a Jane Fonda series up through the end of March. Listeners, get on it. And I'm having a gay old time. I think she is actually like a really smart, calibrated performer.
Oh yeah, Jane Fonda as a whole rules as a person.
Rules. One of the most interesting people in the history of Hollywood.
Yes.
Hanoi Jane and all. Second podcast
doing
in a row.
Oscar acceptance speeches in sign language. Getting arrested like 2 years ago at climate protests with Ted Danson. We have
constantly.
to stand a queen.
I'm afraid, I try not to throw this word out. We must stand. We simply must. All right. So that is all the Zack.
Also, folks, check out Grace and Frankie. It's Jane Fonda and Lily Thompson just being a gay old time together. It's amazing. Please watch.
I love that. I have yet to check it out, but I intend to.
It's the ideal quarantine show because It's just great character actors having fun with each other.
Cozy friendships. I love it. I truly love to see it.
It's two old people starting a vibrator company called Ménage à Moi.
Oh, God bless Grace and Frankie. The Lord bless and keep Grace and Frankie. Okay, I'm gonna hit the lap button.
Yes, we're hitting the lap. We're getting into the cut.
Okay,
we're cutting deep.
The build up to the cut, because indeed I believe the second cut will be the deepest.
Yes.
So, in the wake of Christopher Nolan's big, huge Dark Knight trilogy, which adopted
his vascular uncut Dark Knight trilogy.
Yeah,
really, I think. No, didn't Man of Steel come out before The Dark Knight Rises?
No, they came out one year apart. Okay. No. So after Christopher Nolan released his big veiny Dark Knight trilogy, Warner Brothers saw the billions of dollars these movies were bringing in and said, okay, we need to continue this. And there was, for a while, some different versions and different projects that were tossed around. One of which was taking Joseph Gordon-Levitt's Robin character and expanding that out with perhaps a new filmmaker and a new direction, because Nolan seemed done before he started writing Dark Knight Rises. He was ready to move on to the next thing, because he could get people to
really get on Inception.
Yeah, he could get people to approve Inception, so now he's like, why am I doing more Batman when I can go do Interstellar? But he did more Batman anyway.
Because we have to set up Joseph Gordon-Levitt for Nightwing, I guess.
So spinning out of this, what becomes is a little film about Superman, who is the obvious choice to go to after Batman. Mm-hmm. The second of DC's big three, and it would be a while before we got to the third, but the big three. And adopting a distinctly Zack but a Nolan-ish tone in attempting to tell the story of Superman. Clark Kent, aka Superman, and in the movie Man of Steel, which I saw in theaters and hate it and have not seen since. I was one and done with Man of Steel. I watched for the
first time last week.
How'd that feel?
Bad. I do not think that people lay enough blame on Nolan as they do Zack for this.
Interesting.
Because because the story structure is truly terrible.
It's deeply bad.
The constant cutting to flashbacks, wholly irrelevant to the theme of the previous scene,
exactly,
a la Memento, is just bad. Like, David Geffen is clearly a work for hire at Warner Brothers. He's brought on to doctor whatever script Warner Brothers is working on right now. So I can only lay the Memento format on Nolan.
That's interesting. You're right, because that is not a format Zack has adopted in any other scripts.
No. Zack is a classicist. He likes classic Renaissance imagery, supercut people that he will make do absurd workouts to make their absurd, overly buff bodies to, and then join in on their workouts so that they can keep said absurdly muscular bodies.
Yes.
Like, this is the guy who wanted a buff Commissioner Gordon.
Indeed. Although it can be said that J.K. Simmons is always buff, no matter what movie he's in. But you're right that he does seem particularly jacked around that point in time.
Well, no, okay.
But Simmons keeps it tight.
Yes. Well,
all right, let's...
Zack Snyder casts his movies like he's following a Tom of Finland illustration.
He really casts it like Vince McMahon is his casting director.
Yeah. Well, there is an implicit, I don't know, there's a weird queer element to Zack Snyder's filmography. Because the introductory shot to Clark Kent using his strength is when he's lifting an oil derrick away from it, and it cuts on his, upper arms and chest, lifting the oil derrick. And then pans down into his torso and cum gutters.
Oh. Well, I mean, if you have cum gutters, you got to put them in the.
If you got them, show them off. But
absolutely,
that is not necessary for the storytelling.
Sure,
that's for Zack.
That's just one for Zacky. And what?
Which again, which we have to respect. However,
I remember that movie being a living headache. I remember the trailers getting me very excited, and then just one of those movie-going experiences where 5 minutes in, you mumble to yourself like, "Oh no," this tastes bad, and this is my next 2.5 hours. And that did not feel good. But you and I have analogized that a good comparison for Zack Snyder is actually Frank Capra, like an avowed classical nationalist who makes patriotic films and with like a very rudimentary shooting and cutting style.
Could you actually elaborate on that? Because I think that's a really interesting point.
Sure. I don't have a grand thesis, but Frank Capra, director of such films as It's a Wonderful Life and many literal pieces of U.S. military propaganda, like war bond cell propaganda, in the actual use of that term, not just a thing with a message, just like literal propaganda. And Zack has this, and I don't really have anything to back this up, but it's an avowed, like, reverence and nationalism for our heroes, and our heroes as troops. And troops, Superman is a troop. Batman is a rogue troop. And it's...
No. Batman is not a troop. He's an Eric Prince military contractor.
Sure, I'm sorry. But to not allay on it too much further. They're despite him never uttering such words as truth, justice, and the American way. It's a very like nationalist idea of this interpretation. Cornfields, slow motion, children running and playing. It is only when the foreign invader shows up that things turn dicey. But segueing on. Man of Steel is a financial success, but perhaps has like a divisive reception and reaction.
Not the big hit they were looking for.
Yes, they wanted it to dominate and kill, and it did well enough that they weren't going to give up on it, but it did not blow the doors down as they had wanted it to. Segue to Beavis, aka Batman, Superman, Superman, Dawn of Justice.
Because we're naming movies like they're fucking JRPGs now.
Yeah, it's absolutely... Yeah, Batman v Superman stroke Echoes of an Elusive Age 2.8 complete edition.
Superman, the Winding Path of Hope, the Uncut Edition, 0.3.
Superman Chronicles Age of Batman. Yeah, exactly. You get it. You understand. And so after the lukewarm reception of the Superman film, not an unnatural reaction to say, let's get Batman in here. Okay, like let people show up for Batman. Let's get Batman in here. And so they bring in what I will never not refer to as Batfleck. Ben Affleck gets jacked as hell. A wide jacked. You know, he's...
In all fairness, actually not all fairness, but I definitely did a little bit of reading into this. And Zack Snyder is quoted to saying he doesn't like a short Batman.
Sure.
And he wanted a bulky, thick Batman who also drives Zack's car.
Just his exact car.
Like his own like English, a classic English car. Back when an English manufactured car meant something.
Sure. Right. And Batman do drive that. You get the introduction
Batman do go vroom.
Batman go beep beep and vroom vroom. And in this film, you also get the introduction of Israeli special forces, IDF zone.
IDF mannequin, Gal Gadot
from the Fast and the Furious franchise.
Would you believe that Gal Gadot was a model before she was ever an actor?
No. What do you mean? This statuesque, impossibly beautiful person was perhaps a model.
This woman who reads her dialogue like it's her fifth language.
You know, you just have to write the right dialogue for her. Does that make sense? Like, if you give her a tremendous speech, she can actually do a pretty good job with it. If you give her an innate piece of human dialogue, it doesn't go.
Kevin, I'm not sure if giving Gal Gadot a speech that says good is peace and truth is tranquility. Let yourself be a hero of one is exactly a compliment to Gal Gadot's acting prowess.
I was referring more to, like, I am Diana, princess of the Amazons, daughter of Hippolyta. Like, that is exactly what she's suited to do. She's actually the female Gerard Butler.
Saying her name?
Listen, it's deceptively difficult to make that seem impressive and interesting, and I think she does a good job.
That's true.
I think she's legitimately very, very good in that first Wonder Woman movie. I think she's very, very good. Not a perfect film, but she is very good.
I do stand that that Wonder Woman 1984 is a superior film.
Bold.
Because it actually, I like seeing a hero fight with a lasso and a boomerang tiara.
I mean, I do like that. I just wish there was more of that.
Yeah.
Like, I think they failed to capture that tone after the opening sequence.
Yes.
But we love our troops. And
we love our troop Wonder Woman.
Yeah, we love our favorite troop. And yeah, so anyway, personal feelings about this whole deal aside, that movie comes out. And is everyone remembers the famous pissing contest between the giant media corporations, of which you must choose an allegiance, where Batman v Superman was set to open in late April, early May of 2016, to which Marvel said, no, we're going to put Captain America Civil War there, and DC said, oh, okay, you know what, actually, yeah, you are going to do that. We're going to go back to February, and they're going to hit first. This movie has since developed a rabid fan base, but the initial reaction was poo-poo doo-doo. was no good. And
I believe it was a 30% on Rotten Tomatoes when it in the early weeks.
Indeed, and I don't hang my hat on Rotten Tomatoes, but it can be indicative of whether or not like a movie is at least divisive.
It's a decent win. It's a decent means of knowing where the wind is blowing.
Indeed. And the wind was in fact blowing some poo-poo doo-doo in your direction. And it is what it is. And, you know, I am not here to argue the merits of that film because I will be honest with you, I've not seen it all the way through. I did not care to. I tried,
so I
and I
watched
failed.
the ultimate cut over the weekend, which is the Batman vs. Superman with 30 extra minutes just for you.
I just couldn't get enough the first time.
3 hours of it.
Cheapers.
And there was a full hour of the film that everyone just memory holed, which was the Lois Lane subplot where military contractors used special metal only developed by Lex Luthor to fake Superman killing African Civil War fighters.
You can't prove that. That's not in that movie.
It's in it, and then a Democratic senator from Kentucky, like that's fucking happening in
famous blue
in
state Kentucky.
2010s,
Yeah.
has to drink Jesse Eisenberg's piss. And then the fight happens, and then Doomsday shows up, and then the movie stops. It doesn't end; it just stops.
It's Zack's pulling from 1970s cinema there, where he's like, where movies just kind of end, where there's no grand finale. They just sort of like, okay, plot's done, see ya, credits.
Yeah,
there's no denouement. It just stops happening.
No. It's a generally not the worst film of the 2010s, but certainly the biggest missed shot.
Should have been an A+.
Yes.
Should have been $1 billion enterprise. Again, does not do that, and I'm not. You'll never find me taking the side of studio executives at giant media corporations. Sometimes they know what they're doing, but generally, you should always side with the artist.
Yes.
So the performance and reception of that film makes them rethink the course that they were taking, because at this time, Zack was already shooting the first of 2 back-to-back Justice League movies. That was in progress, and they're like, we need to rework this tone, we need to redo that, like we need to reconceptualize this thing midstream. They were doing the Bugs Bunny thing where they were laying down the train tracks as the train was moving right along, and then they were
shooting a Dead Man's Chest and At World's End.
Right, just like a back-to-back. Like if Fellowship of the Ring had come out and they said, Peter, square one on the next 2. We got to rework this tone, but it was off-putting. Is essentially what happened here. So that happens, and they essentially complete production. So like they shoot that movie. This is the first 1.5 times they shoot the movie Justice League. Then there's a horrible tragedy.
Zack Snyder's daughter tragically kills herself.
Exactly. And Zack, for completely understandable reasons, pulls from the project. And no matter what I think about, like, the guy's movies, I have no ill will toward the guy personally. It seems, from what I've read, that, like, all of his actors like working with him. Like, he seems to be a respected and well-liked person by his collaborators.
Yeah, that's the craziest thing, is that I do think a lot of the hate for Zack Snyder is kind of exaggerated.
Oh, 100%.
For his implied politics that he has never really stated or fleshed out outside of his film.
He's been built up into a boogeyman. Like, he's been built up to this thing, and it's this thing that happens where we start getting mad at our shared idea of a person, not the person themselves.
Absolutely.
What I refer to as an Anne Hathaway scenario.
I didn't know Anne Hathaway had a huge hate following.
Yeah. People, for a while, we decided we didn't like her, that she was too earnest, and I poo-pooed all that. Anne Hathaway's great.
Fuck you. Ever After is a goddamn delight.
She's a goddamn delight.
Ever After. Ella Enchanted? Was that it?
Yeah. No, you got it.
Okay.
She's a charismatic fucking movie star. Everyone needs to fucking
She's fucking great. Shut the fuck up, everybody.
Shut the fuck up, everybody. She's excellent in Ocean's 8, a movie that is fine, but she's great.
She is the one good part of Witches.
Indeed. Oh, she's the only thing. As soon as, like, the rats happened, I was like, I'm out of this movie. But up until then, I was like, yes, Anne, please serve me whatever you're serving up here.
As she stopped trying to vor the rats, okay, then I'm moving on.
Moving on. Out of here. See ya. Anyway, she's not in these fucking movies. Why are we talking about Anne
she's
Hathaway?
not. God bless her. She's above this.
She was in a different set of Batman movies.
She's in another thankless role in a Batman movie.
Exactly. Where Christopher Nolan understands that Catwoman is supposed to be sexy, but does not understand how to shoot.
Why? Why she's sexy?
It's very funny to watch him try. Anyway.
But what if this bird just wanted a hard drive from you? And that's all she wanted.
God bless Christopher Nolan, the least sexual director, perhaps, of all time.
The most flaccid man in England.
And that's saying something.
That is absolutely saying something about England.
That's really saying something. But we digress. So Zack pulls out. And the understanding at the time is that Zack approved actual cretin Joss Whedon to take over the project.
Fedora invested goblin Joss Whedon.
Oh, Jesus Christ. And he steps in, he rewrites and redirects enough of the movie to earn those credits, which means at least like 40% of that movie. And people, you like to play a game when you watch Justice League, and you're like, okay, this is a Zack, this is a Joss, and you can kind of ping pong that back and forth. They shoot that movie, so now I will say this is a full 2 times that they've shot Justice League. And that movie comes out and has a nothing of a reception. I'm sure it made quite a bit of money because all these movies secretly make like $800 million worldwide.
I do think it was one of those like weird I do think the bulk of the Hollywood, especially after 2001, was let's just run the producer's grift all the time.
No one will ask us where all the money went.
Absurdly expensive movies that somehow, due to financialization, and especially once Obama took over, comically low interest rates.
Yeah, once we start doing what is
whatever we want and call everything a loss.
Exactly, the classic Hollywood accounting where, according to Hollywood's books, Men in Black has yet to turn a profit, which is the most, like, preposterous idea.
The Simpsons has been on for 30 years, and the original writers, like Mark Reese, have failed to make a profit from it.
Indeed. Because of again, creative accounting, which I will just call criminal. It's a crime. What they're doing, it's a crime. But anyway, I'm not here to sling shit. But Justice League sucks. It's bad. I saw it
I would argue the worst of the trilogy. In part because of Joss's involvement.
Oh, Christ. Because it's like, you know, the Reese's peanut butter commercial where it's like, you got my chocolate and my peanut butter, two great tastes that taste great together. These are two bad tastes that taste even worse together. It's no good. I did see it in the theater because I got a free ticket. I used to work at a comic book store that was next door to a movie theater, and 3 times people came in and were like, I'm not going to use this ticket. Does somebody else want it? And it was like right after I got off work, and I was like, yeah, sure, I'll go see, whatever, fuck it, I'll go see it. And that was like right around the time I went to St. Louis to film Pet Turtles too. It was like, that was all like,
yeah, no, that's when I first met up with you to talk about Justice League, is under the church that we were shooting Pet Turtles in.
Yeah, and it was absolutely rancid. There was one good scene in the entire movie. And I'll be very curious to see how much of that scene remains or has changed between the version that I saw and the version that is about to come out.
As far as I know, of the 4 hours that the current film is in, only 30 minutes of the original cut remains.
Interesting. Very interesting. And I'm sure it's been, like, recolored. It's
recolored all the color's been sucked out. It's been...
Yeah, absolutely.
Zack hates deep darks and saturated color. He hates it.
He likes a muted, even color palette.
He wants the sun to be a fluorescent light bulb.
Exactly. And you watch 300 and you're like, oh, this is kind of like a bold, interesting stylistic choice. And then you watch his other movies and you're like, oh, no, this is just what he wants movies to look
300, like. Not 300. What's it? His auteur passion project, Sucker Punch. The way he shoots the sun is the exact same way as just this broad, flat, disgusting white. Yes, like a hospital light color.
He wants the sun to be covered by clouds, and he wants the outlines of the clouds to be the exact same even yellow hue across the entire sky, and he wants every cloud to be equally dark in all spaces.
Yes.
It's an aesthetic I hate. I really don't like looking at it. I think it's just ugly. And all of his movies, to quote my friend Justin Germeroth, have been color corrected to the color of gun. They are gun colored.
It is. Well, also, it's not an aesthetic that is ugly in an interesting way.
Sure. Like John Waters. Right?
John Waters, Takeshi Miike. Like, there are tons of auteurs out there who relish in the disgusting and the grotesque. Wood Kaufman.
Sure. Oh, yes,
James Gunn. James Gunn, Missourian hero.
That's where he starts out, and his first 2 movies, you could argue, that he directs. Have that a sec. But okay, it's time to get into the real meat here.
Yes.
Because we need to wrap this up. So the movie comes out. It's a big disappointment. Over the course of the next year, this slow idea gets introduced into the fandom culture that there is this full version, a cut, if you will, of Zack Snyder's Justice League that is just like sitting on a hard drive, and WB is criminally keeping it from us. Mm-hmm. It becomes like this, and Zack does a lot to perpetuate this and says, yes, there is a full cut. I am in the Dan Olsen camp, folding ideas on YouTube that, like, when they say a cut exists, it's not a finished movie with finished effects. It was all the shots put in sequence, but missing most of the effects, the music, etc.
Yeah, it was the collected dailies.
Right, it was an assembly cut, as it were, which is this thing where you lay basically like every take in Adobe and say, oh, Black Panther's 4 hours long, but it's like, no, it was never going to be 4 fucking hours long. You don't accidentally shoot a 4-hour movie. People don't know how movies are made. Jesus.
Unless your name is Doug Walker.
So the cuts are laid, and anyway, so this idea congeals for about a year until you finally get to the point where it's like, they finally find the catchy hashtag release the Snyder cut. A simple command, easy to understand, has like it's a perfect little synthesis that everyone can suddenly rally behind, and thus unfolds 3 years of angry online spaces, buying out like air flights and skywriters and advertisements all over Comic-Con, like the fans, quote unquote, start this huge groundswell campaign that they never shut up about, of release the Snyder cut. And along the way, this spirals and it goes, and Warner Media keeps trying to make the DC franchise thing happen. So, like, Wonder Woman had come out and had been a success, but it's a long time before they get that sequel going. So they find the other thing that they went all in on the one Zack thing, and then that doesn't work. They try and make, like, the Flash movie, the Cyborg movie. None of this really goes. None of this really happens.
Yet somehow Aquaman. Fucking Aquaman hits.
$1 billion movie, absolutely buck wild. Mostly
that
because
Zack Snyder helped produce and helped James Wan do the movie he wanted to do.
Right, and it hits big internationally, where like the domestic gross of Aquaman is actually less than like basically any other of the contemporary superhero blockbusters. But internationally, it's gigantic. It's the opposite of Black Panther, where Black Panther is the biggest domestic, like, American audience movie and doesn't hit as big internationally. But America, just everyone fucking went and saw it. Weird, when you make a movie that appeals to black people go see movies, and it hits. But we must move away.
Yes.
So this they try and go all in on Margot Robbie, Harley Quinn, and I quite like Birds of Prey. I think it's a good movie, but it's not a cross-cultural hit. It's an R-rated, campy comedy action movie. It's a niche film, but I'm the niche. What can I say? And none of it really goes. And eventually, the Snyder Cut thing becomes such that they're like, all right, Zack, we're trying to launch a streaming service here. The third one with HBO in the name. Here's a bunch of money. Go shoot the movie.
I don't think we can talk about the Snyder Cut without really talking about the merger between AT&T and Time Warner, the two of the biggest cable companies in America, one of which also has strong connections to one of the biggest movie studios in America.
Absolutely.
Which them finally merging and Time Warner bringing the Warner Brothers film library, which also includes mainstays that we stand here, like the Criterion Collection, into AT&T's wheelhouse. And AT&T wants to launch their own streaming service to compete with Disney, with Netflix, and with Comcast's flaccid Peacock program.
Indeed. Though Peacock is making a big move by trying to like own the concept of wrestling. Like they're making some moves, but we have 4 minutes to finish this.
We do.
So you're right. So they make that big move. One of their big HBO Max originals is giving Zack the money to go make this movie, and regardless of what I think about the movie, it is kind of interesting and bold that this is happening. That like this artist is getting to put, quote unquote, their full vision up on the screen, a 4-hour Justice League movie that will end in a cliffhanger.
The last 4-hour movie to be in American theaters was Kenneth Branagh's full adaptation of Hamlet.
Yeah, just did the whole Hamlet. He went whole ham. He went ham, as they say. Yes, which is absolutely buck wild. Again, the cast and crew seem to be fully on board for it. Not to like sweep this under the rug near the end, but like the Ray Fisher situation where he has been repeatedly calling out the executives at Warner Brothers and Jeff Johns and Joss Whedon in particular for like a horrible, racist, abusive behavior, which I'll back up Ray Fisher. You know, like he.
Props to Ray Fisher. He is the best fucking actor in the Whedon cut.
Absolutely.
And I'm genuinely glad he's highlighting the weird, like, not weird is the wrong word, but the explicit racism that self-progressed liberals like Joss Whedon and probably Jeff Johns would attest to.
Absolutely.
Right. Get out, liberals.
His accountability over everything policy is really, like, he's doing tremendous work. What he's doing is fucking important, and I hope it doesn't kill his career. But I am truly, like, in awe of what he's trying to do
absolutely.
here. Absolutely. And not only that, you're right, he's the best performance in the original cut. He's very good. In a movie of almost universally bad performances. His is very good.
The guy has to sell who is, unfortunately, at best, C, maybe low B tier character in the DC canon.
Absolutely.
Who's only popular for a show, a cartoon in the early 2000s.
A Teen Titans cartoon show, but they've tried to elevate him to the Justice League thing, and it just, like, it doesn't really take.
Not connecting. It's not hitting the way that, Jon Stewart from Green Lanterns does. I don't know why, but it just doesn't hit. But God bless him. He is bringing 100% to playing this character that he's clearly hates playing. Like, at least the Joss Whedon version of.
Right. And so here in the last 90 seconds of what we're recording here, anyway, we're on the eve of this thing coming out. Hopefully this is a nice history and a little bit of cultural context. Will this open up a bad door to entitled fans not accepting bad movies and demanding that bad movies be remade? Or will that not happen? Will the movie be any good? Who knows? It'll probably be better than what we got, if only because it is now one thing as opposed to 8 things.
Or, considering that the dark timeline we're in, will bad directors insist on making the fully bad versions of the movies they weren't allowed to make?
Will this happen for other non-white male directors who get projects taken away from them? Or won't it? Will we suffer through release the Ayer cut? Will we suffer through reinstate the Snyderverse, his 5-film plan? Who can say? But we will soon know, at least, if the Snyder cut's any good. See you next month.
Kevin, I believe you have... so we've cut, I assume. But I would like to get this on the tape. Kevin, you have a graphic that you have been deeply enamored with over the past year or so.
It's very fun to send that to you specifically, but also anyone at any time.
So, Kevin, I'm going to pull it up real quick. Could you break down what exactly this graphic is?
Sure. Sans context, it is the bat symbol, and falling out of the bat symbol are sperms, and they are landing on a baby. And I'm told that this is part of a graphic that Zack Snyder approved and sells on merchandise. And is part of his 5-year plan for the Justice League.
Now, Kevin, what do you speculate that means in the Snyder cut? Because I think we need to leave... We can't get out of this without some kind of speculation, some kind of Snyder cut bingo, something. What do you think, at minimum, Batman comes into a baby means?
I think it does exactly what it says on the tin. I think Batman is gonna sperm on a baby.
So the question is, Kevin,
No.
who is the baby that Batman jizzes on?
That is, of course, baby Kal-El being shipped off of Krypton as it's about to collapse.
So are you telling me that
Yes.
Batman is gonna bust a nut on the mother box
That's exactly right.
on Superman's thoroughly cold corpse?
He's gonna
is Bruce Wayne's wet seed going to activate the mother box to bring Superman back to life?
I think he's gonna turn the mother box into a father box.
He's gonna use the mother box as an Ona hole.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. He's gonna use the mother box as a fleshlight.
He's going to say mother box as often as Steppenwolf did in the Whedon cut. Just oh, mother. I love grasping your box, mother.
Okay, Justin, I really gotta go.
Okay, I am cutting the Kevin Germeroth cut here.